Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Legal Content Chat. I think we're on episode 22. I will stand to be corrected. If anybody knows, please let me know, but I reckon we're on 22 now. So quite a long time anyway, and the guests just keep on coming, which is awesome. So my name is Becky. If you don't know me already, I am a legal marketer and copywriter. So that means that I write content for the legal industry. So that might mean consultant lawyers, legal professionals of some kind, and also legal tech companies. So that is a bit about me. But enough about me, because today is all about Laura. I have Laura J from Conscious Solutions. She is my guest today. And we are going to be talking about how to use your website as a recruitment tool if you don't already. And we're going to be telling you exactly why you should. And we might even be bossy about it. You know, who knows? So as always, guys, if you are regular listeners / watchers, please put your comments or questions in the box below. We would love to hear from you, and we do appreciate you being here. So without further ado, Laura, introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, Becky. Laura Jiménez. So I work at Conscious Solutions as an account manager, looking after lots of our clients. We host around 350 law firm websites. And we've been doing digital marketing for law firms for 20 years now, over 20 years. So that's a lot of that is building law firm websites, but also we do PPC, SEO, branding, social media, also copy as well. So that's what we do, law firm marketing, helping law firms become more successful online.
Amazing. Thank you for that lovely intro. And we've already had a couple of people saying hi. So Peter said hi. I don't know if you know Peter, Laura.
Yeah, I do. Hi, Peter.
Oh, okay. So we've got a fan club coming in already. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you you saying hello. So all good. So law firms and recruiting. I mean, I do enjoy this topic. This is an interesting one, and it's definitely right up my street. So why do you think law firms are getting the most out of their website when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, so similar to you, I hear so much about this. A lot of my client meetings are dominated by law firms struggling to recruit, in kind of what I hear a lot is called the talent wars. And I appreciate it's a difficult one, because obviously you want law solicitors to come and work for you with all the experience, but obviously they're in high demand. So it's kind of, how do you stand out, really? And I think a lot of law firms, they don't realise that their website is kind of an untapped resource, really, on helping them in that recruitment struggle.
Okay.
So a lot of law firms use recruitment agencies for finding their solicitors. So obviously an agency will send the solicitor their details of the job and that sort of thing. Where's the first place they're going to go? It's going to be to your law firm website, just to see what you're all about, see if it marries up, like, oh, I've seen this great job advert. Is it the same if I kind of go on the website? And the problem is sometimes the website of the law firm doesn't actually reflect who they are. So it's a great idea. If you've already got your website, there's a tool there. You should be using it as a resource to show who you are and kind of present yourself.
Yeah.
And I think there was often that thought around, we've got a website, we'll just put the job advert out there. This is what we're kind of looking for. Now it's so much more of a two-way street. So not only you interviewing the candidate, but they're also interviewing you. And I was speaking to one of our clients kind of recently, Frettons. So they very much approach recruitment as a year-long process, rather than just something reactive when they need a new solicitor in the firm. So that's where your website is there to kind of keep your presence up to date, really. And one of the things I'm kind of quite interested in at the moment as well is the whole aspect of storytelling, and how you can use your website to tell a story about what your firm is all about. So it's not data that helps us kind of make decisions. It's very much our emotions. So it's getting across the culture of your firm on your website, rather than, like I said, simply saying, right, we need a solicitor, we have all of these, perks, free, health club membership, parking, that sort of thing. It's kind of like, what do you want people to feel? It's very much a sales thing. And like well-being, especially in law firms, is such a big topic at the moment. So I'm sure lots of people are aware of Leah Steele and her work on burnout and kind of like the financial impact of, you know, staff well-being as well. In Elizabeth Rimmer as well, she champions law firm well-being as well. So the point I'm getting across is use your website as like a window to your law firm and have your culture really like come across there.
Yeah.
And sorry, I could rabbit on about this for ages.
Go on. I'll tell you in a minute to shut up. You're right.
I think, again, conversations that I'm having with clients is kind of, and I'm seeing on LinkedIn as well, more often than not, they think that kind of solicitors, people want this hybrid working.
Yeah.
And often they feel like, okay, for whatever reason, we can't offer that. So they almost kind of feel that they're on the back foot. But speaking to solicitors themselves, more often than not, that's not the case. So it's about kind of, is it a nice place that I actually want to spend my time with? Is it worth me kind of jumping ship? And at the end of the day, we don't know what people's motivations are. So the best thing you can do is be transparent, using your website as like a window into your law firm. This is what we're all about. And it doesn't mean it's going to be right for everyone, but it will be right for lots of people. So kind of focusing on like understanding what your USP is. So, for example, one of the things, and I will go on to how you can get this onto your website, but one of the things is approaching your staff and getting testimonials from them, asking them, okay, why do you work for us?
Yes.
And, you know, one of the really handy things about that is hopefully you'll get lots of different responses as well. And there'll be something that appeals to someone. So, you know, someone might be like, oh, do you know what? I actually love the fact that my career gets developed here. And that'll be really important to someone that's potentially kind of moving up. Or someone else, oh, I love the fact that actually my work is pretty flexible. And if I need to, you know, finish early to get the kids from school, I can do that. So these are the sorts of things that I really think you can go to town on in your website.
They're really powerful, aren't they? I mean, I love looking at about sections on law firm websites, mainly because they're normally diabolical. I can tell them that they're diabolical. You seriously need to look at this. You know, you've got those really old-fashioned lawyers all standing up very straight and saying, this is how many years I've been qualified and this is what I'm specialised in. You know, people are not interested in that at all. They're interested in how the law firm wants to work with them. And you're right, it's a two-way process. There's so much talent out there that firms should be doing everything they can to go, come and work with us. We're brilliant. And this is, you know, so do you think like, I mean, I think like video is amazing. Really powerful. So, I mean, if you can get your staff to like just do a little mini testimonial about why they love working, like, I know this might be an ask for some people because not everyone likes being on camera. But that kind of thing, do you think in your experience can work really well, Laura?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, like even if you can only get kind of a couple of your staff like on video testimonial, it's all about kind of hitting people in different ways. And just kind of going back to the culture thing, really, I come from this kind of with my experience as well, and I think a lot of this people have experienced this. It's all well and good kind of having these perks, you know, like you know, free lunches on like a Friday or something.
Free fruit on a Friday.
That sort of thing.
Fruit on a Friday.
The whole and like the whole ping pong table thing. But I mean, I've been there and worked at companies like this. But actually, if you're miserable and frustrated that you can't do your job, the thing that you want to do, the thing that you're trained in doing, and you can't do that for 5 out of 7 days of your week, then you know you're just going to leave. So it's a case of how do we kind of retain these staff and get across our culture. And like I say, that culture won't always fit everyone. So the best thing you can do is be honest about what your culture is, find out why people work there, why people enjoy staying there, and to just really kind of promote that. So I think, I mean, obviously the first place to kind of go with that is having a career section on your website. So You can always call it, careers or work with us. And something that's kind of my first kind of hint or tip really on this is to have it a prominent tab at the top of your banner on your website. Okay. So kind of alongside the more client orientated stuff like your services, have it as a prominent tab, because a lot of websites, and this isn't just law firms, but they tend to put like work for us like hidden right down the bottom of the footer of the website. And it's like, no, we want you to know that we want you to come here. We want this to be open. And like one of our clients, I think I popped you the website over, is WSP Solicitors. They've got a great kind of prominent work with us, like kind of right at the top there. Yeah. So that's kind of the first thing I'll do, so that applicants know, or potential applicants know, that this is important. You take your workforce just as seriously as kind of bringing in new leads. Yeah. The other thing as well, having like a dedicated career section is a great way to kind of share your story in a more kind of focused way. So obviously you'll have your About Us section, and I will go on to that because, maybe not all law firms already have a career section or are ready to kind of invest in adding that. But if you do have the career section, it's a great way to share your story, who you are, what you're all about, like we were saying, with having video testimonials. Yeah. Or, little anecdotes, that sort of thing from your staff. Or you just reminded me, I could do with a drink, actually. This is what I mean. Once you get
my branded mug right here.
Obviously, mine's orange.
Yes, of course. I'm a little bit disappointed you're not wearing orange today, actually. I think
this is orange. Oh, gosh.
Oh, it is orange.
It really is. It must be the light.
Must be the light.
It's definitely orange.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen you in any other colour.
I know. I think I posted up recently on LinkedIn. I had a picture with me and my mum, and I was wearing pink, and didn't feel right.
No, it's not right.
LinkedIn.
But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, go to the career section. Another thing as well, kind of what I alluded to earlier about the two-way street, is when you're promoting your job advert on there, it's kind of old-fashioned now to kind of list, exactly what the job entails and what your expectations are. Things are so much more competitive now. So you should be telling applicants what they should expect from you. What are they going to get from you? Like I was saying earlier, here are the development opportunities. We're going to be providing you when you come here, if they do or not. We've already got X number of cases waiting for you, or we tend to expect X number of leads coming in from our website, so you won't be short of work, and these are the sorts of leads you'll be getting in. So very much kind of really selling the role to them, rather than this is what we expect, competitive salary, one of my bugbears.
Nobody actually says how much it is, and when you actually get into it, it's not competitive at all.
And what is competitive? And well, my skills are competitive, but anyway. So very much, like I say, selling the job to them, and that is a good one to kind of say the sorts of leads you're coming in, the sorts of clients that they can be expecting to deal with. Tell them the teams they're going to be working with, or maybe link to the profile of, you'll be working with Sarah in our family law department, for example. So very much tell them what they can expect from the role and kind of sell it to them.
Yeah. What about tech? Because I think this is an interesting one, especially for solicitors that perhaps quite early on in their career, where they kind of there is a perception that there's a lot of grunt work to do, a lot of just paper shuffling, whereas firms that are more modern and have implemented technology to save time so they can really get going on cases and get their teeth into something. I mean, I think that's a really good selling point for a firm to mention potentially on a careers page as well.
No, great shout. Knowing that there kind of are tools there, and as well, especially like we were saying earlier, if you're looking to kind of attract new associates up into the role, people that are kind of going to grow with you, it's a very good way of demonstrating that you're a forward-thinking firm, and that you do listen to probably what your staff are telling you about. Okay, it would really make my life easier, or, you know, these are the frustrations and challenges I have in my role. Can we explore XYZ solution? And like you say, tech very much does play into that. So that's a good idea to kind of have, maybe list like those tools that you use as well.
Yeah.
And just to things that will just make their decision easy to come and work. You know, if they're looking between you and a competitor and you have the same kind of tangible perks and that sort of thing, these are the things that are going to make you stand out above those.
Yeah, 100%.
Other things you can add as well, because, you know, not knowing exactly what people, you know, how to appeal to people and how to sell them, you can have kind of visually engaging elements on your career section as well. So kind of statistics on like the diversity of your firm, or, you know, the length of service of certain members of staff. You know, if someone's been there about 10, 15 years, it's obviously a good place to work. They feel comfortable there. So one of our clients, Stephen Rimmer, has done this, and they've got various kind of stats on there just to help you understand, helps build a bit more of a picture of the firm as well. Because ultimately you're trying to make it an attractive place for people to jump to. They might not even be kind of looking for a job, but you want it to kind of stand out and be like, oh, actually, yeah, this is a lot better than what I'm currently getting now. Because people work, you know, especially solicitors, well, I suppose anyone really, people work really hard to forge their career. And yeah, they've kind of started out on a path. So this is a big decision for them.
I think it just shows that they actually, the firm cares, and that they're looking to make that great first impression just from the get-go. And if that does convey across, then that gives them reassurance that actually they're going to be looked after while they're there, and that they will be able to grow as well. So I think it's about that first impression too, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that is what websites are all about now. More often than not, this is what I'm kind of saying to our law firm clients. You know, your clients coming in, the first thing they're going to see is the website. That is the first impression now. It's not them kind of like coming off the street more often than not, like, oh, I'll just pop in here. That's where they're going. So that you do very much want it to reflect you. So kind of be honest, be transparent about what you are and about what you're not as well. Because, you know, otherwise you're potentially having someone coming in under false pretenses, and it's just not going to be sustainable. So kind of what we were saying earlier about having, you know, staff on videos, if you can, it is a tricky one to get people involved in that, but if you can, that is a really good way, because it helps, you know, these applicants as well to see, oh, I'm going to be working exactly with that person.
Yeah, and it ties into the storytelling, doesn't it, as well? It really builds that picture of the firm. In fact, we've had a comment from Dino, which I shall just pop in here. Do you know Dino, Laura?
Yes, I do. Yes,
I was going to say I don't, so he must know you. Just talking about showcasing the culture, which is quite just getting that in there. Save so much time on interviewing people, which is a really good point as well, who wouldn't enjoy the culture for whatever reason. And that might not be that it's bad, it just might mean that they're not necessarily going to find what they want there. So
not the right fit.
Saves everybody time, doesn't it, overall too?
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, you just want to find that right person, because like you say, you don't want to then be spending X amount of time and money. You know, time is the one thing that none of us seem to have. So you don't want to be there 18 months down the line having to recruit again. So if you're honest about who you are.
I think so. We've also had a lovely comment. Oh, Liz is going off on one over here. Earlier on, she said, yes. I don't know what she was saying yes to, but she was definitely agreeing with us. That's great. Thanks, Liz, for your enthusiasm. But we've gone, she's gone in with another comment. So she's saying, fab ideas, Laura. Love the idea of videos and have fun with videos. Laugh a bit, do a walk around the office waving to people. Sit having a cuppa by the nice coffee machine. Just don't video in a cold white room by a desk, because that's boring. Show off your lovely working environment. Does it look and feel warm, inviting, relatable, caring? Mention mental health, first aiders, access to counselling, etc. And don't just list them. And then she says, sorry, she's getting overexcited. And then I think she got cut off halfway through her sentence. So,
Oh, no.
well, yeah, we
She's
might have
very
more from her
passionate.
in a moment.
Yeah.
She is very passionate. Did you catch the previous episode with Liz, Laura?
No, do you know, I didn't. Frustratingly, I wasn't around for it. But yeah, no, Liz and I have been chatting on and off for a while, and yeah, she's absolutely fab. And that's the other thing as well, like she's saying about going around your office. You know, you don't need to get any fancy video equipment. You don't need to hire anyone in. Phones are so good these days. You can just record these clips on your phone, and they don't even have to be massively long. So yeah. And like I was saying earlier, the fact if you're asking your staff, it's also a good way as well, a good opportunity, like kind of outside the general appraisal or one-to-one arena, a good opportunity to say, actually, yeah, why do you like working here? You know, what attracted you here in the first place? Is it kind of, is the job progressing how you thought it would? But yeah, and why do you stay? So yeah, great if you can get kind of different feedback from that.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, so then obviously you can put that on your career page, but you can also put that on like the individual staff profiles as well. Gives
you good feedback. I think there's nothing bad about doing that at all. Like, it's great for recruitment, and it's also great for growing your firm as well, and understanding what your staff actually feel about working there too, because it's not really a conversation that you're going to have when you're going to grab a cup of coffee, is it? About like, oh, why I've decided to stay after 5 years. It's giving people that opportunity and that space to actually say what they think. And, you know, you could be really surprised by the results that you get. And I guess, you know, take it on the chin if you hear something that you don't like, but then it's room for improvement, isn't it? So
totally. And that kind of leads me on then as well. So if you don't have a careers page, you probably have staff profile pages. So this is also a good tool to use on your website for recruitment. More often than not, we kind of feel that the staff profile page is there for prospective clients, just to get to know who they'll be working with. Some law firms don't even have staff profile pages. And I think sometimes the fear around that is kind of giving away kind of a lot of information. But you can kind of do as much or as little as you want. So when you have your staff profile pages, one of my little tips there is that you can put a link to that if you've got a relevant job, again, kind of, you know, working with a divorce solicitor, you can have the link for your divorce solicitor job with your current divorce solicitor and kind of like linking through. And again, a candidate will see, oh, this is the sort of person I'm going to work with. So one of the things I found talking to clients they are a bit kind of reticent about with this is adding in hobbies. And I know
a hobby, controversial.
I know, God, it's a real first world problems thing, isn't it? But the reason is, you know, I have spoken to a solicitor before who was actually a victim of stalking, so I can understand that you probably don't want to kind of give away too much. You might have some people that are kind of perfectly confident giving away, like, you know, I live with my 5-year-old son, Oscar. I enjoy baking at the weekends. You know, I love walking around Bristol, those sorts of things. But you don't actually have to go into that much detail for people to kind of still feel connected with you and feel that they understand a little bit more about you and feel a bit more welcome towards you. So you don't have to kind of, you know, share your story. You can always set your staff kind of like vague questions to have on there. So like, you know, oh, what's your favorite meal, your favorite movie, your favorite quote, or a joke, or, you know, I don't know, do you prefer desserts or mains? Would you rather be chased by a lion-sized rabbit or rabbit-sized lion? Stuff like that. And it just kind of like shows a bit of personality. So they're kind of getting something from you, but you're not actually really giving too much away. And Frettons is another kind of good website to check as well for kind of staff profiles. The other thing as well that's worth doing with your website is to actually just check these staff profiles are accurate. So I know it can be kind of like tricky to get photos of your staff, least of all if you're trying to do a company-wide one. We did one at Conscious a few months ago, and our marketing lady, Maddie, she had to like coordinate in everyone's diaries, right? These are the slots that she was
Nightmare.
so organized. She's so good at it. But it's things like that. You're like, oh, this is going to be a huge undertaking. But at the end of the day, your website needs to reflect you. That's what it is. It's an extension of your firm. So that's my next tip, basically. Make sure your staff profiles are up to date, and that does include their pictures.
Yes.
And that includes kind of a link to their LinkedIn. Something else I could rabbit on about for ages, maybe a topic for another one.
yeah, maybe so. We'll part that one for now.
And kind of like their specialisms as well. So yeah, making your current staff profiles up to date.
Yeah, nice. We've had a comment from Dino again, so thank you for engaging with us. So just a right point again. So he has said all this info feels quite, in quotes, vulnerable for many law firms to share. So in law, we are used to using job specs and lots of documents to get a point across. Having to sell can feel uncomfortable. So do you have any advice on how you can make that easier for firms to do that and move out of their comfort zone?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. Thanks, Dino. And I think it's very much just remembering that people are just people at the end of the day. So it's kind of just it's all about kind of building relationships, and law firms, I think so many more of them now are accepting that they're moving away from being this, kind of stuffy persona that there very much was before. And, oh, well, people will come to us. People know that we are here. We had someone in from a law firm yesterday chatting to us at Conscious Solutions, saying back in the 80s, you weren't able to advertise. And you could put a very kind of demure advert in the yellow pages, and that was it. Whereas now law firms are being so much more commercially minded and realizing, okay, there's so much more competition now. More often than not, solicitors are actually kind of moving away and opening up their own practices, because actually they do want to be kind of more commercially minded. And with that comes with opening up yourself a little bit, helping people to relate to you, and especially in this element of recruitment, when you want people to come and feel welcomed, to kind of, be part of your family. You can't expect them to give everything to you without giving a little bit back as well. So, like I say, there are ways around it if you are kind of feeling vulnerable about sharing things, and it can be just a vague question on there, what's your favorite color?
Okay.
It's just something. It's just something.
Or pizza or pasta or something like that.
And it kind of, it puts applicants at ease as well. Say they've got an interview with you. And it's just a talking point that just helps to break the ice, helps to humanize you for them, because they will be nervous and that sort of thing. So staff profiles.
Completely agree.
Yeah. And the other thing, I'm conscious of time as well. The last kind of element that I wanted to focus on as well, like if you don't
go for it.
Thank you. If you don't have a careers page, is the all important about us section that you were mentioning earlier. So again, more often than not, we kind of feel that is client facing, and so that the clients can understand a bit more about us. Again, humanize us. They'll feel more confident to kind of share their information and that sort of thing. But this is very much a really useful area to keep up to date for potential applicants as well. And this is even if you have got a careers section, keep that about us, because if nothing else, it really helps candidates just to do some research about you, and then they can prove to you in their interview that they've done research. Is kind of that's a useful tool for you to see, oh, okay, this person actually is quite interested in working here. It's not like they're going to all the interviews under the sun. They've actually taken the time to do a bit of research about us. And it helps them kind of get a feel for your priorities and sorts of things. So, for example, you might put in there, if you've got a CSR strategy, the sort of any community work you get involved in, or, if sustainability is a big thing for you, or, I don't know, certain areas of the business that you're kind of looking to focus on. that's a useful point there, just to help them understand, you know, what direction you're headed in, and if they're interested in joining you on that journey as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's kind of your, sorry.
I was just going to hop in with a quick question, actually, from Clara. So thank you for engaging with us, Clara. So she's asking you, Clara, asking you, Laura, have you worked with any firms who share their recruitment process, how interviews are structured, etc.? I always feel this is key information for candidates. You must have read my mind, actually, because I was just about to talk about that. I was going to talk about frequently asked questions, and that kind of interview process and what to expect is really, really valuable, isn't it?
Yeah. No, exactly. Getting that on there. And yeah, to be honest, I haven't really talked about it with law firms, kind of what their recruitment process is. More often than not, when I'm asking about their processes, it's about their feedback process with clients and that sort of thing. But no, it's a really good shout, Clara, just to kind of get a better idea of what their recruitment process is. And maybe there's a way you can kind of, in your career section, have like an infographic just to manage people's expectations. This is how we do it. This is what to expect, the sorts of timelines and that sort of thing. Because it's all about managing expectations, really.
It is. I mean, things have changed so much since when I first went for my first job a million years ago to now. And I was looking for a job a few years ago, and you know, it's so intensive, isn't it? The whole interview process, or it can be. And I know if I know that in advance, either it's a bit off-putting or it's okay, I really want to go for this job, so I'm going to do it. But I know what to expect.
At least you know.
There seem to be so many rounds of different people to talk to, and then a test, and then a presentation, and then you've got to speak to 3 more people, and oh my goodness, it's exhausting, isn't it?
I know, and that's the thing. There are pros and cons, I guess, to having like a really robust recruitment process like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's worth kind of looking at that recruitment process and thinking, okay, are we just doing this with our best interests, you know, in mind? Is this actually going to work for applicants? Is this going to put applicants off? Because more often than not, it's like any decision, you're kind of making it with your emotions, and that whole, you know, first impressions thing. Someone will walk through the door, you're already kind of 90% sure whether you want them to be with part of your firm or not. But another area as well that I was thinking of, how are we doing for time?
We are A-okay. I think we'll probably wrap up in 5 minutes or so. So yes, go on, keep going.
Excellent. And so another kind of tip as well on your website is a blog section. Lots of law firms have like blogs or news sections, depending on how you kind of treat it. A great area that you can just put a bit of information about a job, like, oh, we're hiring, and you can kind of, all those elements we were talking about earlier, just tie them into one place, really. Like, you know, this is what you can kind of expect from the role. This is why we're recruiting for the role. This is where we're hoping the role will go, and those sorts of things. So you kind of expand on it a bit more with a specific blog post. And then that's a great way, you know, of sharing that maybe on your LinkedIn and that sort of thing. So using the blog post, your blog area is a good way to promote recruitment as well.
Plus, gets more eyes on your content too. So it gets more eyes on your job roles if you have got going. So if you've got your blog post, you're optimizing it for SEO, then potentially that can be picked up by search engines, which means more and more people can see the jobs that you've got advertising at the moment. So that's it's good to get more eyes on you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the final thing as well was just having a referral scheme. And if you do have a referral scheme, making sure that that's kind of prominent on your website as well. Because like we were saying earlier, you know, when you're hiring, you want this to be sustainable, so you don't have to kind of keep going through the process again and wasting your time and money. So having a referral scheme with your staff, you're more likely to recruit someone if your staff have basically kind of pre-validated someone, pre-qualified them, haven't they? You know, it's someone that they trust, someone they feel confident that, like, actually, I'm happy to bring this person into the firm, and, you know, they'll make me look good as well as themselves. So having that and highlighting that. Oh, and the final thing as well, it's just popped into my head, is using your logo on your homepage. You can add like a little speech bubble on there to say we're hiring. So that's always kind of a beautiful shout. And you can have like a link there to where the job advert is, if that's on your career section or something.
Yeah,
So,
makes sense. Oh, lovely. Thank you. So many tips there, guys. This is amazing. And finally, we've had Liz back in again. So she's obviously come back to us. She has said, find the fun people in your firm to be your ambassadors, and no, they don't have to be lawyers. So showcase a variety of people from different departments who can bring a different perspective. So that's a great idea. Everyone is important, and I think that's a powerful message. I think it's a shame when firms only show their lawyer profiles, some only show their partners. Yeah, I've seen this a lot as well. Yeah. Imagining interviewing a member of support who has worked at the firm for 20 years. So their story is golden, they've stayed, demonstrated why. So yeah,
and
really,
those sorts,
really good.
And those people as well, they're, the client facing one, the clients will see them all the time, often those, staff on reception. So they are great ambassadors. And you've got to think as well, like if you were hiring someone from like, the support team, how would they feel if they look at your website and there's no representation of anyone from that team? So yeah,
I think celebrate everybody. Absolutely, that's the message, isn't it? So
exactly.
Lovely. So if we've got a law firm listening today and they'd really like to work with you, what's the best way of getting in touch, Laura?
Yeah, so we've obviously got our website.
Yes,
conscious.co.uk, or just pop me a DM on LinkedIn. I'm quite prolific on LinkedIn, so that's a great way to kind of get hold of me, and we'll take it from there.
Lovely. Well, what we'll do is we will repurpose this LinkedIn Live, because all about repurposing content and putting it out into other areas. So we will add to the show notes Laura's website so you can get in touch, and also her LinkedIn profile too. So this has been a lovely, really, really useful chat, which I'm sure our audience have found valuable. So lovely. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. So if anyone watching or listening thinks, do you know what, I might want a bit of that, be on that show. It's a bit of a laugh. I can get to talk about what I want to talk about. We'll think about that. Maybe we won't have every topic on here. It's got to be in the legal industry. It's got to be like quite interesting as well. And also, I do have to like you as a person. So make sure you got those criteria ticked before you get in touch with me. But just let me know if you are interested on being on. So that is it for today. I am trying frantically to remember who I have on next week, because next week, I think it's May next week, isn't it? It is the 1st of May. We have Scott Simmons on next week. So that is exciting. A business development guy. And he's got so much to say about how we can turn lawyers into rainmakers. So we're going to be looking at how lawyers can thrive in the new business development era. So that is going to be a good one. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Laura. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Cheerio for now.